So you're going to see things that some of you might think, was that really in the 50s? Yes, it was. We're going to start out with colors that you might not be familiar with. I, for one, am wearing pink and gray and black. Those were colors that were big in the 50s. But a fabulous color was chartreuse and black. And here we have Alice Miller entering the room with this fabulous suit. It was handmade in the 1950s of a very fine, lightweight wool. And I must say, Alice has brought this from her own collection. She is a fabulous, wonderful model. She has her own collection and is delightful in her clothes. She's helped me out because we have 9 models today. This dress, a suit, feels wonderful to the touch. It has 9 small covered buttons going down the front of the jacket. The peplum on the skirt around the waist of the jacket gives it a nice flare. Jackets were shorter. We used to wear long jackets in the 1940s. The suit was accented with black accessories, a black blouse with a small tie, black gloves, and black smooth leather baby doll pumps. The handmade bag is made of matching smooth black leather with a zipper closer. Okay, I lost my thought. It was supposed to have a wool hat, and Alice apologized. She opened up her hat box, and she had the wrong hat. It was red. So I happened to have an extra black hat. And so she is wearing this black straw hat, also from the 50s. And I don't know why I brought that hat, but God knew I needed it. And so she was very apologetically, and I said, oh no. I said, this is an extra. You wear this one. But she had a lovely wool hat that was handmade in Germany to go with the suit. But unfortunately, we're not viewing that. Original owner had the suit made specifically for traveling. She thought it would be easy for her husband to pick her out in a crowd because of the color chartreuse. Who knows what the exotic locations this suit traveled over the 50 to 75 years ago. It was worn possibly on a Lockheed Constellation or the deluxe 20th century limited trade. Isn't she lovely? Next we have Victoria. Victoria is wearing a Saks Fifth Avenue nubby linen suit. It is the skirt, well, she's a little tall, but it would have been, it's what we would call a pencil skirt. And notice the 3/4 length sleeves with the big ample cuffs. She is wearing stiletto heels, which gets her really up a little taller. I think she's been shopping at Frederick & Nelson's. We all remember Frederick's. Yes, especially if you're from around here. The best place to shop. But I don't think that the suit from Saks came in from Frederick's. I think they were more on the East Coast. But Saks Fifth Avenue has 2 covered buttons on the front, and she's just wearing it with a white silk blouse. She's carrying a lovely, oh yes, blue cloth handbag designed by Harry Levine with a heart-shaped enamel clasp and a coin purse still attached inside by an elastic cord. Everybody could keep their things together back then. We have a little problem. I've had a couple of problems. You know, these things are well over 75 years old. And the glue has deteriorated on a pair of earrings and on this beautiful little heart-shaped clasp that was on the bag. So she's sharp, even with those very tall stilettos. She could bend over and pick up that heart. If anybody wants to look at it, you can see it in the palm of her hand. So This suit is kind of towards the end of the 50s, and Alice's was for the beginning of the 50s. You saw how much longer hers was, but you notice the ample amount of fabric that she got made up her suit. This is a lovely look, and she could have been traveling anywhere but shopping at Frederick's. Next we have Beverly Jacobson. Now, we're really playing this up. She has something in her pocket. This is an interesting pajama set, but actually in her pocket is the original advertisement for a televiewing, lounging, or sleeping set. That's how it was advertised. My guess, it was probably purchased at F.W. Woolworth's or maybe Newberry's. It came in a plastic sleeve, and it was just a cute little set, but televiewing. You have to know how old that is. They didn't have a screen on the wall like it's in the classroom where we're dressing. They just had this little box, you know, and it was black and white, as the advertisement is. So it's a cute thing. You can see the outfit from a distance, but you have to see that ad up close. So Beverly is carrying that around, and her mirror, which matches her pajamas or televiewing loungewear. There has to be humor in everything we see. You just think, 50s, that's a really long time ago. And I want to tell you the thing about Alice's suit that tickles me. When I was maybe 3 years old, I remember our bathroom in North Everett. It was chartreuse and black tile. And when I look at that suit, I just thought, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's one of my earliest memories was chartreuse and black. And then we moved to the suburbs south of the airport, and everything was pink and gray. The colors I'm wearing today. So next we're going to see Janet Nicholas in copper and black. Now, just think, if you're out with the teens, our lovely teenager, and I love the copper with her beautiful hair, it's just perfect. She has on a skirt. Now, it's not a swing skirt. It only is box pleated in the front, but this skirt has been printed by a silk screen. It's black cotton, and it is a beautiful copper print. And she is wearing it with a little black, I think the sweater is actually, undersweater is probably wool. Has this little peekaboo opening in the front with netting, but she has all original copper jewelry from the 1950s, including that stretch belt that goes around the middle. So the jewelry and that stretch belt are really pretty interesting. There's some things that you don't find anymore unless it's on eBay and it costs you a lot of money. She has just accessorized it with a, she's got a crinoline on her there, but I told her to comfort herself, she should wear the long slip underneath. But she can show you the crinoline, which is black. We have crinolines in all colors nowadays.
Why would you wear those petticoats?
That I find in thrift stores. I never shop on eBay. It's just too much money.
To make it look different?
Okay, so Janet will walk the room. If you have any questions, you want to see that jewelry up close, take a great picture of them. They're wonderful. And then check and see how much it would be on eBay. Okay. Now we have Andrea Kreidler. Look at her shoes. Do you remember saddle shoes? With red rubber soles. Who made the red rubber soles? Anybody in the room know? B.F. Goodrich. B.F. Goodrich. They made the red rubber soles on saddle shoes. And her skirt can either be called rust or saddle tan, just to match her shoes. And she is wearing a Talbot sweater. Now, what does she have on her sweater? Can you tell? They're robins. And they have been added. Somebody has added, and they're 3D. They have been added onto that sweater, and it's just amazing. You don't see work onto that sweater, and it's just amazing. You don't see work like that anymore. They are just absolutely darling. She has a fold-over leather bag that is very much the same color as her skirt. I think it's lined in taffeta, isn't it? Yep. And she had earrings the same color, but that's where the glue failed. So now she has white ones and a white carved plastic bracelet to go with it. And if you notice on the skirt, it's stitched. Now this is like the poodle skirt. The poodle skirt was designed by Julie Lynn Charlot. She did the first poodle skirt in 1947. She was not a seamstress. She had been a vocalist and an actress, but she had dreams of being a fashion designer. But she couldn't sew for anything. So she hired a seamstress to sew her designs. But the first skirt that she designed was a full skirt made of felt, because felt was the only fabric wide enough that you could cut a full circle out of it. And what she did is she was invited to a Christmas party, and she cut out Christmas trees and used some tchotchkes because she was Jewish. I don't know what a good Jew was going to a Christmas party, but it doesn't matter. She made one, and then she made 3 more, and she dropped them off at a Beverly Hills boutique, 3 of them. They immediately sold, and they put in an order for more, and the store, they just became famous. They wanted more designs, so she put poodles on them. First she used doxies. Dachshunds were chasing around on the skirt, and that's where the poodle skirt came from originally. I have a beautiful skirt I would have loved to have brought, but it didn't fit any of my models. The waist was too small. It might have fit Alice, but she was already busy wearing other things. It had a train that went through Santa Fe, had a big mission and palm trees. It was darling. They were very, very popular. But this one just has what I call north, south, east, and west. And if you can pull the skirt out by each corner, you can see how the roads passed on the arrows. Now turn around and let them see from that distance. Yeah, the dotted roads that come together in those arrows with the little rhinestones on it. So it's a really cute idea. Her skirts originally sold for about $35 each in 1950. They are now, that's $400 in today's prices.
Wow.
And I don't know what they sell on eBay, but you can check it out if you want. Thank you so much, Andrea. And now we have Paulina Tran. Now this is the early version of a felt skirt. It's not the full poodle skirt, but it's just absolutely darling. We'll ask her to go up on the stage. She has a little white blouse that was made by Eisenberg. Some of you know Eisenberg Ice, the jewelry. Well, they got into making blouses as well. I think they're known for the pearl buttons all the way down the front. And she has a big black felt fan. It's a real cloth hanky, and her headband is made out of wool felt as well. And I gave her this little handbag, which looks like it's about big enough for a 45 RPM record. It has a zipper on the top where she can put things inside of it. Around her waist, she's wearing a belt from that side. Now, she's almost 11. No, she's almost 12. She's 11 right now. Is that correct? Yes. She's from St. Thomas More Parish. I talked her into doing a show last year there, and she's been a wonderful model for me. She fits so many of the tiny clothes. Last summer, she wore a dress from 1865. That's how small she is. So we love having her. Little red shoes from 1950. And it's just wonderful to have someone in a size that can wear belts. They're double buckles on either side of that belt that goes around the waist of that skirt. She's just absolutely a doll. I love having her in the show. It's special to have people who enjoy seeing, and all this while she's learning about ancient history. I'm not sure about what history is taught in schools today. I don't think it goes back that far. But she's wonderful, and she has a wonderful mama who comes and helps her get dressed, and that always makes it easier in the back room. I have a couple other women who help, but it's just great to have someone who's young and energized and enjoying, making it more fun for all of us. So, while she's making her way through the room, I'm going to ask Racine Snyder to join us. Racine is doing her best to channel June Cleaver. You remember June Cleaver? We all remember the Beeve. Racine is wearing pearls, of course, and has Bakelite bracelets on her wrist. Yes, and Bakelite earrings, the green and the red. She is wearing a print cotton dress from JCPenney's, of course. Yes, she has a cinch belt around her middle, and it's green. Yeah, she's showing you down here. When she makes her way up to the platform, she can show more, I guess. And you may come on this way, please. She's got the apron on because June usually was in an apron. You know, a housewife, you know, that was her job. Raising children. Whoops. There we go. Thank you so much. She's wearing those rather high alligator red shoes. We don't want any accidents. We're not going to sue the archdiocese, that's for sure. So Racine came out. I asked her one morning at brunch. She's one of my brunch buddies. I said, would you like what was that? Was in the pocket? The cards, the little mini deck of cards that's in that apron. I found that apron up in La Conner and fell in love with it. Those are appliques of fabric on that taffeta apron. And somebody has appliqued that and put little French knots all the way around it. It is just darling. And you notice she came out, she had her hand in her pocket. That's what I told you. We lowered the hems, we had more fabric, and we put pockets in our dresses and in our aprons. And Racine is just a doll in that outfit.
Bonita.
She's not tied to her apron strings anymore, I can tell you that. So there she goes. She's out having fun. This is her first show, so we're breaking her in. And you're a wonderful crowd to break her in with. Now I'd like to bring in Miss Ayuma. She was introduced to me by one of my models who lives in Auburn. And she said, would you like to meet a new model? And I said, absolutely. So here's Nice. She's wearing a sundress from the 1950s. It's just a halter dress. I love people who have so much color. They make the clothes look really good. She's just wearing a pair of T-strap shoes. They're actually dance shoes, so they're easy to walk in. The dress was made in 1950s. It's got red piping around the pockets. Those are two very deep pockets. I could lose my cell phone inside those pockets. It would have been easier if I'd had those pockets that deep when I was losing my phone in the costume room. It was like, somebody call my phone, please. So she's got her own petticoat on because the one I gave her wasn't full enough, but she brought her own. She's got a lovely red handbag and red belt. Her hat, surprisingly enough, was oh yes, and that is suede lined leather purse. You know, they made things really, really well. And you know, the money was not going to the military boots and leather belts and holsters anymore. The hat on the inside of it has a little clip that holds these hats on. It says Miss Lynn, and it's spelled the way I spell my name. And those 40s hats, some of them were platters, some of them were bent down a little like this. I have one like that in pink as well. If I'd have found it, I'd have put it on my head, but I'd have had to take my bow off. I'm just in love with my bow because it makes it look like I have hair. Going bald isn't fun. Not when you're a woman anyway. Okay. He's going around the room so you can see things up closer. It's a very interesting pattern. The patterns on the older fabrics to me are so much more interesting. And on natural fabrics, 100% cotton. Racine's dress, 100% cotton. The sundress is 100% cotton. Okay, now we have Annie Lella. Annie is wearing white crepe silk chiffon dress by Seal Chapman.
That's beautiful.
A very, very wonderful fashion designer. Her hat is a very interesting hat. The feathers, if you're interested, are swan feathers. If she puts her head down, you will notice that there is Mirabelle on those feathers. Mirabelle comes from the swans down. And I was given that hat and a bunch of other ones by someone whose friend gave her a collection of hats, and she said, since I also do hat shows with my fashion shows, maybe I'd like them. And I said, you betcha. I couldn't say it fast enough, and she brought a bunch of hats to me, and I said, that goes with this dress. Now I'm going to ask Annie to put the fox down, the white fox down on her arms a little further, and just make a twirl with that dress. Now I want you to think about Some Like It Hot and Marilyn Monroe over this TV. Right? That is the look. 7-Year Itch, I'm sorry, not Some Like It Hot. 7-Year Itch and Marilyn Monroe. We're not saying that Annie is Marilyn, but the dress definitely is. And her shoes, believe it or not, are J.C. Penney shoes. And they are from the 1950s. If you see them up close, you know that that's... J.C. Penney's was not a lower class store. I mean, they weren't Fredericks or the Bon Marché, but they were right up there, and now we don't have them. But that's the way it goes. So Annie, if you can make your way down here, and then people can... They can feel, they can see inside your handbag if you like. It's just a little pearl bag. Most bags were lined with taffeta lining. And she's wearing white jewelry, about the same color as her white gloves and her shoes. Now we're coming up with something that's very bright. Now we have Beverly. Beverly is wearing a lovely red velvet coat. Sort of a swing coat.
That's beautiful.
And a black velvet platter hat. Lovely black gloves. And as she'll continue up to the stage, we're going to ask her, I think she can probably hold her coat if she wants to, once she's up there. But she's going to show you the whole thing. This is a black taffeta eyelet dress. I should have brought a paper clip for that self belt. It's a little bit long on Beverly, but she can flip it underneath. Yeah, whatever. Now, if you look at it, you can see, maybe I can get a little closer. Yeah, it's got a red lining.
Wow.
There, she's got it.
Beautiful.
Some like it hot. It's a lovely look on her. We were discussing what things, you know, she's got red jewelry on, and it's just so much fun to bring out these clothes. And now they had a lot of red and black back in the 50s too. And I have to admit, I found that dress in Oroville, Washington, which is north central Washington, at a yard sale, and I think I spent $5 for it. And I just love that dress. And I have to admit, years ago when I weighed less, I could wear it. If I could still wear it, I'd be wearing it, but I can't. So it's wonderful to have friends and models who can wear these clothes that I have collected. I think I was coveting them before I came on to the idea of putting on fashion shows and sharing them with everybody else. I actually prayed about that and asked God if he'd show me a way. So, next we have Victoria Oliveira again. Talk about lots of extra fabric. She had, the petticoat is going to show a little because I couldn't find the right one for this. I've got so many petticoats and so many people in different ones. This is a Mother of the Bride from 1956.
That's
Changeable
amazing.
taffeta dress. Isn't it lovely? A lady who lived in Newport Hills gave me this dress and a bunch of shoes that are all 7 AAA. Nobody's feet fit them anymore. I also do shoe shows. So looking at a bunch of lovely shoes is always nice. She has the blue, are you still wearing the blue shoes with those, or are you wearing the spikes? Yes, you are wearing the blue shoes. Okay, good. She's carrying a little sequined and beaded bag, and she has seed beads and colored rhinestones, and I think the jewelry is sort of the colors of the dress. It's changeable jewelry. She has a little veil on her head. It's just a kind of a showstopper. So when I do a wedding show, she wears the wedding dress, but she also gets to be the mother of the bride, because that kind of changes. You see all this white, and then you see this come out, and it's like, wow, kind of show-stopping. But it also has a pocket in it. Didn't you tell me, Victoria? Yes, it has pockets. So, you know, we were really happy to get pockets. When I worked at Bishop Blanchette, actually a volunteer stipend kind of job, as a costumer for the theater group, I learned that you don't go to work without pockets in your clothes, because I could lose the keys to the costume room so easily. You set them down and it's under what stack of clothes, what stack of shoes, where did I put them? I was very good at losing keys. And I never carried a purse because when I was about 12, I think my father told me, "You've lost enough purses, we will not buy you another one." So if I didn't have pockets, I had a chain that would work. I carried all my keys around my neck. And my driver's license fit in my pocket, my back pocket of my jeans. And I didn't have a cell phone back then to lose. So this is lovely. Now, Paulina, we have you up next. Now here we have Paulina in her penny loafers. I've got my penny loafers on, and so does she. She has, believe it or not, original socks from 1950s. They are Humpty Dumpty. The labels on them, I bought them in a thrift store. Humpty Dumpty little pink anklets. And she is wearing a little sundress. She can, if she wants to, she can take off the sweater once she's up there. It's got the same design as the pattern on the dress. And you can see the back of the dress. Yeah, isn't that a sweet dress? A little sundress. It's a little cool to be wearing no sweater right now. But she's carrying a handbag. I'll read it here because I'll forget it. Her handbag is made by Everett, and it has polka dot lining, little pink polka dots on the inside. Do you see things like that in your handbags? No. I looked it up on, what was it, eBay or one of those. They were charging $39 for that handbag, and it's 75 years old. So, Everett was a real designer name of the handbag. Everett and you want to see those things up close. By the way, she has a bracelet and a necklace on, I think. And do you have the necklace on too? No, we missed the necklace. Pop beads. But they're football-shaped pop beads, which is something that was not very common. They used to always be round. She learned about those this morning, because I decided to add them last minute. If anybody wants to see those things up close, see the inside of that purse, it's fun. It's a convertible purse. You can fold the handle in and use it as a clutch, or you can leave it out. Very nice design. I like that hat on you. Okay. Now we're going to bring out Janet.
Janet.
Here we go. Red and black again. Isn't this lovely? More full circles. We call this the tuxedo dress. Double-breasted. I think we should have pulled the straps up on that underslip. I just didn't get them short enough. Isn't this lovely? Her handbag is very interesting too. It was made in France. If she opens it up, she can show you that she's not the only thing in black and red. An egg-shaped box purse from Paris.
I gotta get closer.
Her platter hat just has a rose on it. And cherries on her lapel. And just a lovely, lovely look.
Cuando se aire, no sé.
Now we're ready for Andrea Kleidler to come back again for a little surprise. This is a beach outfit. Andrea is wearing a skirt and a romper, but that's going to be the surprise for later. She's going to come up here on stage and I'm going to talk about a couple of things that she's wearing. It's really very interesting to me that I read up on the person who designed the shoes that she is wearing. I have always, since I was about 5, loved flexi clogs. I had a pair of them in red.
So cute.
Red is the best color of these shoes. Now if you notice, they are made of wood. And there are 3 pieces. They flex. She has one in her bag, and she'll take it out, and you can see they flex. They flex with your foot. And the straps are made of an early type of plastic. And they wrap around, you see the one she's wearing, they wrap around your shoe, they're adjustable, around your ankle, around the front. It's really long for Andrea, so we actually wrapped them around and poked them back through the hole so they wouldn't be long straps. You don't want to cut them off, the next person might have fat feet, which Andrea certainly does not. This is a beach outfit, and she'll bring that around and you can look at them at the table if you want to. She's wearing, it's actually a 2-piece outfit, and she told me that I am really taking her out of her comfort zone in this outfit, but she's a real sweetheart and trying to do her best. If she would untie the tie and unbutton her skirt, you will see what she has on underneath it. It's a little hard to do. This is what I'm talking about, a romper. Now you've seen the shows where the dancers and everybody are backstage and they wear the short shorts in the 1950s. Well, Andrea is doing that for us today. And so she has, now keep the flexi clog out though. Gotta get down to the bottom again. There you go. So when you walk around, be sure and show that to people. They're not going to be interested in the skirt at all, but she's interested in you. So you can get around and show people. Now the flexi clogs, there's a really interesting thing about them. And I have this here and I want to read it from the flexi clogs were made in New Holstein, Wisconsin. Wisconsin's known for something other than cheese. Those shoes were designed in 1948 by a young lady named Dolores Polly. Actually, she'd just been married at Holy Rosary Church in 1948 after getting a degree in philosophy at Marquette University. She got a bachelor's degree in philosophy in 1949. And she worked at the Flexiclog company as a designer and stylist. She designed that shoe. She was a Catholic woman. And I just learned that by reading her obituary last night. And it says that she was a devout Christian and a member of Holy Rosary Catholic Church. She strove to live by her faith with incredible reservoirs of love, kindness, and understanding and forgiveness. An active CCD teacher and years as a member of the Christian Women's Society at her parish. And I just thought, I think God directed me to that last night so that I could share that with you today. I was really struck by that because my love for Flexiclogs has been there my whole life. And I have a whole section in my acquisitions of things about Flexiclogs that I'd never really known. We wrote to New Holstein, Wisconsin, to the Historical Society, and they didn't know as much about Flexiclogs as I did. Because in the 50s, when the shoes went out of style in the late 50s, early 60s, the building that had been their warehouse was taken over by another company, and they found some things in there. They saved a couple of pairs of shoes and just burned everything else without contacting the Historical Society. So they have the pictures of all the items I have. I don't think she brought out the purse. There's a wooden purse made by Flexiclogs. I'll have her bring that out when she comes out for the finale so you can see the purse. It also is hinged, and inside the lid there is a mirror. So they thought of everything back then, and it's just so interesting to see what they did that were really avant-garde for that time, and what we've lost as we get so way ahead of our times. Now I'm going to ask Nisi to come out in a beautiful evening gown. This evening gown was worn in 1958. And I don't know if you know anything about 1958, but I'll tell you this much. Elvis joined the Army. All right. She just shared with me that that was when she was born. Hooray! See, it's sort of a balloon-shaped bottom. It's got a drawstring in there. I did the show for Villa Academy one year, and we did a Now and Then, and they were wearing their graduation prom dresses, and I brought my prom dresses, and I had so many mothers come to me and say, where can I find one like that for my daughter? As the girls were pulling their spandex down and up and around. As you can imagine, that is a real showstopper. And I'm so happy to have Niece here to wear it today because it is a beautiful dress that has not been shown for some years because you just need the right body to put it on. It is handmade of red taffeta. I don't know if it's as red as it always was, but it's sure beautiful. Trying to stay on schedule as Nisi goes around the room. I'm going to bring out Alice Miller in another item of her own collection. And Korean War 1953 Army nurse uniform. Yes, she is a natural model. Uh-oh. Alice has such a wonderful collection of military nurse uniforms. She is seen often at the Museum of Flight, and she is invited to all places to show her collection. She was invited to Pearl Harbor. Absolutely, she is wonderful. The end of World War II brought the end of rationing, which brought a big change in fashions. Designers started using more material. Jackets got shorter, skirts got longer, and coats were lavish. The fashion world was changing, and this applied to the military as well. The U.S. Army asked the famous designer, Hattie Carnegie, to design this uniform. This is not your typical Army uniform. The color is called rose taupe. The jacket is tightly buttoned up at the caduceus pinned onto it. At the buttons on the jacket and the eagle on the hat are antiqued brass. The unique hat is called a side-up pot hat, with the hat worn tipped to the side and the antiqued eagle perched over the right eye. It makes quite an impression. The handbag is made of beautiful cafe brown leather, and the antique snaps match the buttons on the uniform. The bag is always worn on the left side, so your right hand would be free at all times for a salute. The beautiful gloves match the handbag, or utility bag as the Army would call it, and the pumps are comfortable and match the bag, and they were made by Deliso Debs. We all know that. If we're old enough, we know Deliso Debs. The rank on the uniform is Major. The ribbons are from her service in World War II. The patch on the left shoulder is the Army Services Forces patch. The right shoulder has the USAR patch, Service in the Pacific. Unfortunately, this uniform was hard to fit, and the color could be very uncomplimentary to many women. This style only lasted a few years. Regardless of the fit and color, Hattie Carnegie called this uniform her finest hour. 45,000 women served in uniform in the Korean War. And I might add, as small as Alice is, this uniform in this year was a size 10.
Oh, wow.
She's a size 00. Fashion has really changed. Welcome to 2025. And at this point, I would like all of our models, and if Andrea's gotten the handbag back, I'd like her to bring that. Apron on. Andrea, did you do the handbag? The sexy handbag? It was on your. Okay. If everyone can get up on the stage, crowd together. The purse. Some of you can probably stand on the stairs or down in front. I don't know where my husband is. Oh, there he is. Buried, he says. like to come out and tell you everybody's name, if I could. In the uniform is Alice Miller from Covington. On this end, we have Beverly Jacobson from Bellevue. Yes? Oh, Beverly, she's up there, Woodinville. Janet Nicholas from Bellevue. Niece Ayuma from West Seattle, Burien, down south. Andrea Kreidler from Linwood, Bothell. Paulina Tran in the front row. She's my next door neighbor in Linwood. Racine Snyder from Wedgwood, yes. Anna Bullock from Linwood area. St. Thomas More Parish, same as Paulina. And Victoria Oliveira from St. Pius, no, Christ the King Parish. And, whoops, they're heading that way. Well, Van, Paulina's mother, Van, is down here. She helped immensely. And Victoria's mom over here helped immensely. And Susan Lowney helped in the back. My husband over there is taking pictures. And I got out here without any mirrors, so these ladies did a wonderful job because all I did was look at their faces. We came close to your time limit. I'm sorry if we ran over, but that's the way it goes. And I hope you've had a wonderful time. We, of course, enjoyed very much being here for you again.
Thank you for being here.
Have the rest of a wonderful day.
Let's please give the models another hand, and Lynn, because she worked so hard and did a fabulous job. So before you leave today, ladies, I would like to just let you know, there's a lot of hands that went into work to make this possible. We started back in October planning.